Okay, and we will start, Randy. Connect you. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So we are in migration upgradation topic, and today we discussed about side-by-side migration, so how to do side-by-side migration, what kind of situations we are getting the side-by-side migration activity, right? So pre-migration checklist, migration procedure, and then post-migration. So these are the things we discussed in yesterday class. So in today class, we are going to discuss about in-place upgrade. It's very rare activity. So I mean, nobody recommended to do that because there is a lot of problem with that in-place upgradation. So mainly the rollback process. So and some very rare cases we are doing the in-place upgradation. So first of all, we have to understand what is in-place upgradation. In-place upgradation in the sense within the same server, if you're upgrading the version from the existing version to higher version, then we can call it as a in-place upgrade. Okay. Usually, what kind of scenarios we prefer to do the in-place upgradation? If hardware, existing hardware is comfortable and healthy to work with the new version. So those kind of scenarios mainly we prefer to do the in-place upgradation. If we don't want to destroy the existing operating system, and if you want to use it for the higher version, if higher version is compatible with that operating system configuration, usually we'll prefer to do that. Okay, but in real time environment, very rare situations we have to do the in-place upgradation. Okay, but we must know that what is the procedure for doing the in-place upgradation. So when comparing with side by side, in-place is very easy, but it's a little risky when comparing with side by side. So another difference between side by side and in-place upgradation. Side by side is totally depend on the backup and restore. So we simply can call it like, for example, if the server contain 10 databases, one after one we have to migrate all the databases, like all the database. If you want, for example, we have a instance one, and instance one contains 10 databases. 10 databases individually we need to migrate it to the other server, right? When it comes to the in place upgrade, it is an instance level, so no need to do that any DB level operation. It is an entire instance level upgradation. Entire server, like whether server contain 10 database, one database, or 20 or 1000, so all databases at a time will upgrade it to the higher version. Okay, so when, and again the second difference is that it is a timeless process. When comparing with side by side, for example, side by side contain 10 database, each database size is 100 GB. Almost we need to spend maybe 8 to 10 hours time for doing that. When it comes to the in-place upgradation, whether it has 1 GB, whether it has 1 TB, or maybe whatever, like 900 GB or 200 GB, whatever it has. So irrespective of the size of the database, the size of the count, we can complete the in-place upgradation in 30 to 45 minutes time. Okay, but usually in real-time environment, we are taking 1 hour time for doing the in-place upgradation. Okay, so these are the main difference between side by side and in place. So side by side is a time taking process. It is a database level, and we have to use the backup restore method to migrate the databases. And when it comes to the in place upgradation is the server level or instance level. Irrespective of the database count, we can migrate the entire instance within the less time, like 30 to 45 minutes time. Okay, and then advantages of disadvantage. This is the advantage. We can say that the advantage of in-place upgradation is timeless process. We don't spend much time for doing that. When it comes to the side by side, that disadvantage is that we have to spend a lot of time. Maybe if contain 1,000 databases, we have to spend a lot of time for migrating the databases. It is a side by side is a time consuming and it is a database level. So those are the disadvantages for side by side. When it comes to the advantages for and then come to the disadvantages for the in-place upgradation. The disadvantages for in-place upgradation is that if something goes wrong during the upgradation process, maybe after upgrade something is not working, we cannot easily roll back it. Okay, we cannot easily roll back it. We have to uninstall the server, we have to reinstall the new server, and we have to do the all the restoration process, all the database restoration. It is very critical and then time taking process related to the rollback. When it comes to the side by side, the rollback process is very simple. Just we can go and put the database in offline on the new server, and we can bring the database online on the existing or source server. So the rollback process is very simple, and there is no risk at all in side by side. Okay, so these are the little differences, few differences between side by side and in place. Okay, then come to the in place. In place in the sense that within the same server, entire instance or server upgrading to the higher version, we can call it as a in place operation. So no need to worry about login movement and then changing the configuration settings. Nothing. No need to do anything in in place operation. Okay, so for doing the in-place upgradation, I want to use the instance to server, sorry, node to operating system. In node 2, I have node to SQL server, MIC server. So the server contains one database and it contains few logins, MIC, MIC2, and it also contains some jobs. I think we created linked server. I'm not sure this server or a different server. Yeah, we created linked server. Okay. We have databases, we have logins, we have a linked server and jobs also in the server. We'll upgrade this entire instance. This instance currently running with SQL Server 2014. 12.0, 12 point something tells the that is the SQL Server 2014 version number. The server running with SQL Server 2014. So our requirement is to upgrade the entire instance to SQL Server 2016 in the same machine. I'm not using any other machines. I'm using only this operating system or maybe machine. Okay, so that's our topic, that is the in-place upgradation. So before that, we also need to look into the prerequisites. So one of the most important prerequisites for in-place upgradation, in-place or side-by-side, is running the upgrade advisor. Okay, we need to run the upgrade advisor. So we already seen how to install, how to download, and how to run the upgrade advisor, right? So we have to run the upgrade advisor for all the databases. Okay. If you see any compatibility issues, any other feature related issues, we have to work with the respective teams and we have to fix before doing the in-place upgradation. That is very important. The second one is that taking the backup of all the databases, including system databases, user-defined databases. Very, very important. Second important prerequisite. The third one is that noting all the server level configuration information. In a real-time environment, we are using this standard configuration settings, but better we can take all the configuration information. Okay, and also better we can take the jobs script. We seen yesterday like how to script out the jobs linked server. Better we can also script out the all the linked servers and all the jobs. Okay, so that is the third important prerequisite. Okay, once these are the important prerequisites. Apart from that, whether SQL 2016 SQL Server 2016 is compatible with operating system or not, that is also we need to do that. Whether SQL Server 2016 is compatible with 2000, 2000, I mean, SQL Server 2016 is compatible with the existing operating system or not. So these are the things we have to take it as a prerequisite. Once verify the prerequisites and everything is fine, then we need to take a downtime. So we can tell to the requester, so we validated all the prerequisites. We're good to do the in-place upgradation. Please provide the at least 1 to 2 hours time, because it's a downtime activity. So we should prefer to do it on out of business servers, because it needs the downtime, because in the during the upgradation procedure, the server will not be available. Okay, so that is the reason we have to do it in auto business first. So we have to talk to the respective server owner or web application team, and we need to ask them to provide the at least 1 to 2 hours downtime. You can take 2 hours downtime. Once, I mean, so maybe they said that Saturday maybe 10 to 12 p.m. They're providing the 2 hours downtime on Saturday. So on Saturday, what we need to do that when it comes to the time for doing the in-place upgradation, the first step is that we need to tell them to stop the application. Okay, so we need to inform to them to stop the application. So once application has been stopped, then we have to start our upgradation procedure. Okay, so assume that application has been stopped, and the next step is that take the backup of all the databases. So why we need to stop the application means if we stop the application, nothing will come to the database, nothing will happen anything on the database, no changes, no modification, no new data will come to the server, because the application is stopped. So once application has been stopped and we got after got the confirmation, then the next step is that trigger the backup of all the databases, including system databases and user databases. Okay, taking the backup of all the databases, including system and user defined database. We already knew that how to take backup of all the databases. So once complete the backup process, then we have to start the, after completing the backup process, better you can also script out the jobs and logins, also link to server, whatever on the server apart from databases, better we can script out, we can say somewhere, okay, place it somewhere. So after completing these activities, then the next one is the direct upgrade. So our plan is that we should upgrade, we need to upgrade from 2014 to 2016. So go to 2016 setup file, and double click on the setup.exe file. And here you can see installation tab. The installation, once you click the installation tab in the right side, in the left side we can see the different options like new SQL Server installation and upgrade from previous version of SQL Server. So click this button, and click next, click next. And so here we have to ensure that everything is passed. But if you see any warnings, but so there is no, it doesn't create any problem for installing when you see the warning. But if any component failed, then we cannot go to the next step. Next button will be disabled. But warnings you can ignore. So this is the one of the common warning and .NET application security. So if you want to see about description, you can click it, and we can ignore this one even if you get this real-time environment. So there is no harm. We can safely ignore, and then we can click next. So it's a developer scene. Click next. The license and terms. And here very important. This is the one of the important step. So here we have to select the which server we wanna upgrade. So that particular server we have to select here. So here we have SQL Server MSC, that is SQL Server instance name. And here we can also see the components, the server component, what are the features we installed, Edison, and then all the things we can see. Selecting the right instance, right server is very important. So almost all the steps are next. Only selecting the instance, that is the main step. Okay, so and then it will automatically detect the all features, and it will automatically detect all features here. Detect and select, and then click next. And no need to do any. We cannot change the name of the instance. So just and it is not recommended to change the name. So just go with the same name and click next. So it will validate the all the upgradation features. So this is very, again, this is also very important. Again, if any rule is failed, we cannot go to the next step. And all the validations are done successfully. We don't see any errors or warnings here. Everything is successful. If you get any role, any rule failed, then we have to fix that particular rule, and then we have to rerun the that upgradation process. Here everything is fine. There is no failed, and then click next. And then final step is that click upgrade. So once you click the upgrade, then upgradation process will start. Very simple. Selecting the right instance, and then taking the backup of all the databases, all the security, and then jobs and maintenance plans and link servers. That's a very important step. Okay, so usually it will take 30 to 45 minutes time. So, but here it doesn't take that much of time because it doesn't contain much data, and we install only two features. So it will complete in a very fast manner. It's almost completed already. Yeah. So here we can see that the status is updated. So that means that the application completed successfully. Okay, close this window and go to the SSMS and refresh the instance. Now it's upgraded to 13. We can see that 13.0. That's mean 13.0 means SQL Server 2016. So if you go to the database security and server objects, linked server jobs, everything will behave like SQL Server 2016 instance, right? So that means very simple. So irrespective of the database size, database count, again logins or configuration, irrespective of anything in the server, entire instance will upgrade in a single shot. Okay, so it is very simple, and at the moment it is very risk when it comes to the recovery process. Okay, so this is the way we can upgrade the instances. So then after completing instance upgradation, then we have to encounter the application people to test the application whether application is working properly or not. And if application is working properly, then we can close the upgradation task. In case application is not working, or maybe they don't want to continue with the SQL Server 2016, or maybe different reasons, then we cannot easily downgrade to SQL Server 2014. So if there is a situation to downgrade, so what we need to do then, we have to uninstall the SQL Server 2016, and we have to install the new SQL Server, and that's mean SQL Server 2014 server we need to install. And whatever backups we took before starting the application, all the backup we need to restore onto the new server. Not only databases, including the jobs and then security, whatever the server has, everything need to be uh, restored to the new server. So this is very lengthy process, and we require the huge amount of downtime to completing that activity. So that is the reason very care about in place application. Right? But when it comes to the side by side, so immediately within the minutes of time, so we can roll back. So we can just go and stop the target server, and then we can bring the database off online on the source one. Right? This is called in place upgradation. So we have to highlight it when you're preparing for interview. You have to tell about you have experience on both in place upgradation as well as side by side upgradation. So you might get more questions related to side by side than the in place upgradation. Okay, if we clear about in place upgradation, so the second upgradation is the next one is that edition upgrade. We already know about so another before doing the edition upgrade, one important point we have to keep in mind that only we can do it from lower version to higher version, whether it is a side by side, whether it is a in place upgradation. We cannot do the higher version to lower version. That means we cannot do it from 2016 to 2014 or 12, but we can do it from 2012 14 to higher version 2016 17 or 19. Okay, that is a very important point we have to keep in mind. So then move to the next one is that edition upgrade. We already know about different editions. Like we discussed in the initial classes that we have standard edition, we have enterprise edition, we have developer edition, express edition. So enterprise edition will support more features and more costly than any other edition for SQL Server. So again, when it comes to the we can only do it from lower supported edition to higher supported editions. That means we can do it from standard edition to enterprise edition, or developer to enterprise edition, and express to the enterprise edition. But we cannot do it from enterprise edition to any other editions. We cannot do it from enterprise to developer. We cannot do it from enterprise to standard or enterprise to BA edition. Another important point we have to keep in mind, right? Only we can do it from lower supported editions to higher supported edition, or maybe yeah, that's an important point we have to keep in mind. Now for doing edition upgrade is also very similar to in place upgradation. You'll see that how to do that. Doing the edition upgrade, so go to the maintenance tab. For example, if you want to upgrade the assume that we have SQL Server 2016 standard edition and we are upgrading to enterprise edition. For doing that one, what we need to do is we need to go to the 2016 setup file. Then go to maintenance. Here we can see edition upgrade. For some reasons, maybe if you install standards and but the actually customer requested for enterprise license, again no need to worry about. So we can take 1 hour downtime to upgrade from standard edition to enterprise edition. Okay. Select the edition here, so and then click next. I'm going to do it for the developer edition. Accept the license and terms. The same steps, no changes. Is asking restart. Let me restart this machine. Okay, it's back. Go to the setup file. See right setup and double click on setup. So maintenance and then click Edge upgrade. So click next and accept the license terms. Click next and there shouldn't be any failure and everything is passing. and then click next. And here we have to select the instance, which instance you want to, which version, so which server else you want to upgrade. That particular server we need to select. I'm using SQL Server MySQL. Click next. So only the important one is that selecting the instance. The step is upgrade. That's it. So very simple. So very simple and it's very similar to in-place upgradation. So when it comes to the in-place upgradation, we have to, after double click on setup file, then we have to select the installation. There we have a, in the left side we can see option upgrade for doing the in-place upgradation. And during the upgradation procedure, so we have to select the server, which server we want to upgrade. When it comes to the additional upgrade, instead of selecting the installation tab, that we have to select the second tab, that is maintenance tab. We have to select the maintenance tab, and we have to select the first tab in the left side is the additional upgrade. We have to select the additional upgrade, and then we have to select the server. So these are the steps. And the final step is click upgrade. That's it. So no other things, no need to do anything. Very simple way I can do the additional upgrade. So but important point is only we can do it from standard to enterprise, developer to enterprise, or BA to enterprise, but we cannot do it from enterprise to any other. Okay, so when it comes to the content page, so we completed side by side, in place upgrade, additional upgrade. Okay, so these three topics we completed. The next topic is that database refresh. So database refresh is very important topic. So this kind of request like DB refresh, database refresh, or sorry, so database refresh or maybe DB cloning. So these are the names we are using. And maybe weekly, maybe we'll get, based on the environment, at least we'll get maybe 4 to 5 requests on a weekly basis. But when it comes to the migrations are very rare. But DB refresh is a regular activity. On almost a daily basis, we'll get this kind of request. Okay, what is database refresh and how to do the DB refresh, and what kind of scenarios we are doing the DB refresh. So these are the things we'll focus. So DB refresh. So let me. So before, yeah, here we can see that its upgrade is completed, and when we connect server, we can connect the server as well. Yeah, so here we can create the services are running fine, and we connected the server. Okay. Okay. Now back to the DB refresh. So DB refresh is very important, and it is a regular activity for database administrator. Okay. So DB refresh is a kind of data or database movement between the environments. We already know that, we already discussed about that. We are making three different type of environments, like development environment, training environment, and production environment, right? We already discussed or staging environment, we can call it. So development environments we are using for the developers mainly using for developing the code, and the pre-production or staging or maybe testing. So these servers they're using to testing their code and then application. And then production is the important server, important environment, because all entire business is depend on the production environment. Okay, so everything is depend on the production server, all the business, and it is alive and it is serving the online operations. So right, that's about the production environment. We want to do anything in the production server. We want to do any modification, even single, small or big, whatever, any changes. Even if you want to change table data type, column value or column data type. Again, so we have to test that that is in development servers and testing servers, and then finally we need to do it in the production server. Whatever it is, small or big, it doesn't matter, but we have to test in other two environments, development and pre-production, and then we have to do it in production. So, for example, if they want to do some modifications in production server, so as our process, we should not do that. So, in that case, what developers ask DBA team, DBA members, they will request to do the DB refresh from production server to development servers. They'll send the email, or maybe they'll create a incident or request, mail a request to then they request us to copy the data, or maybe sometimes they'll call it as a DB refresh, sometimes they'll call it as a DB cloning. Okay, so please copy the data production data to the development, or maybe please refresh the production data to the development. Okay, so once complete the DB refresh, and then after they spend some time to uh, develop the code, and then they will test. After completing the testing, again they will send another request to move the data from development to production, or maybe pre-production to production servers. Okay, so when they want to test the production data, especially, they'll ask us to copy the data from production to development servers, or maybe testing, or maybe pre-production server. This kind of process we can call it as a DB refresh. Okay, so if you want to do the DB refresh for entire database, we have to use only backup restore method. We don't prefer any other method. When it comes to the uh, entire database, always prefer to use the backup restore method. Okay, using the backup restore method, we can complete the DB refresh. So here, one important point is that again in security classes, we highlighted that production servers mainly we have limited access permission, whereas in the development or maybe testing servers we have more permissions. For example, in development server we have DB owner permission, whereas comes to the production server, usually they have data reader privileges, right? In the production server, they have a data reader, whereas in the development and testing, they might have DB1 privileges. Okay, so that is the one point we have to keep in mind. But when using the backup restore method, that's mean if you take a backup from the production server and if you restore into the development server, whatever data, whatever security content, whatever security context in the production server, the same will come to the development server. That means when you take a backup from the production database, when you take a full backup, whatever data, whatever users, whatever security context, whatever data, everything will come to the backup file. If you restore the backup file in any server, if you're restoring in development server, again, whatever data in the backup file, whatever data, whatever security, whatever permission, everything will come to the production development server, right? So, but the development users must have full permissions, like they need DB1 privileges. If one account, two accounts there, then we can manually give the permission. Assume that the development team has more than 100 people. So we cannot note the what permission they have, and then and again granting the permission to more than 100 people or like huge amount of people, it is a hectic task. So for making this security, like having the, I mean, providing the same security after completing the DB refresh and development server. So for making simpler, we can depend on some customized script. Using the customized script, what we can do that we can extract the permission from the development server before restoring, before doing the DB refresh, and after completing the DB refresh, we can apply the same security context, right? So the means DB refresh is a simple activity, like just taking the backup and restoring. So that is the main thing. But providing the same security, that is the important thing. If you forget to note the security permissions from the development server, and if you complete the restoration without noting that information, then it cannot easy to apply the same permissions, whatever permission they have before doing the DB restore. Right? It is a tick task. Like again, they lost all the permissions information. So this is very important point. Even if you get this question interview point of view, they mainly focus on how you're answering related to the security related security, providing the same security. So that's they mainly focusing on interview point of view. Okay, so little confusing. Just leave it. Then we'll see the process. Once complete the demo, then we can understand clearly the DB refresh activity. Okay, so here I want to use Node 1 server and Node 2 server. So Node 1 we have a production. Uh, Node 1 we have a prod database server. Node 1 server we have a prod SQL server, that is the SQL server name, and there we have a database name called DB refresh. It has three tables. So it has three tables: tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. And if you go to the security, again here we can see the three users: DBPRD1, DBPRD2, DBPRD3. Okay, so our requirement is that this database, prod database, we need to refresh to the development server. So Node to server we have a development server. The server name is dev, and so in this database we need to do the DB refresh. Okay, let's understand the what kind of security context in the production server. In the production server, we have three users: DB prod 1, DB prod 2, DB prod 3. And if you look at the permissions of DB prod 1, go to the membership. It has DB data reader. And if you look into the DBPRD2, it has data writer and access admin. Just remember the permission. And when it comes to the DBPRD3, it has again, let me grant the data reader. Okay, so that's mean the production database has three tables and three users. These three users having only data reader permissions. Assume that the data reader and the DBPRD account as data reader as well as access admin role. Okay. Now come to the development. Okay, so when it comes to the development database, in development database we have DB refresh dev, the database name, and there are three tables again. And then when it comes to the security we have three users: DB dev 1, DB dev 2, DB dev 3. If you look at these three users privileges, here we can see that DB deny data writer, DB owner, DB sec admin. It has more privileges. And dev 2 account as DB owner. DB owner is the highest privileges. And when it comes to the DB dev 3 user, it has data reader at database level. When it comes to the table level, it has access on the two tables, tab 1 and tab 2. Tab 1, it has alter, control, delete. And when it comes to the tab 2, it has insert, reference, and select. Okay, so that's mean in production server we have three users. The users have different privileges. And development server we have three users. These development users have different privileges. They have database level privileges as well as object level, table level privileges as well. Okay, so our requirement is that we need to do the DB refresh between production to dev database. Okay, that is our activity. So this process you can call it as a DB refresh. Let me open the DB refresh document. So the first step is that take the source database backup. So here, from where we are doing, I mean, the source means production. In our case, we are doing from prod to DR, so node 1 server to node 2 server. So node 1 SQL server is source. So the first step is that take the backup of the source database. Let me close, okay. So this is the prod, task, backup, and DB refresh brd.bak. Take the full backup. So that is the first step. The second step is very, very important. This script, the second step, using the second step will extract all the permission from development servers. This is the long script, lengthy script. This is the custom script. So what this script will do that, this script will extract all the permissions from the target server. In our case, dev server, dev database is our target server. So this script extract all the information. So copy the script. You should not miss this step. Copy the script till step 3. So this script we need to execute on the target server. Target server is node 2, and take a new query. And control V and just to text format and execute. Okay. So it will extract all these database level roles, object level roles. Here we can see that like dev 3 user having permission on tab 1 and a few permissions on tab 2. It will extract the object level privileges, and it is also like any security. In the later classes we'll discuss about TDD, like enabling the certificates. So using the certificates we can protect the data. Again, if database contains any certificates, the certificates information also it will extract. So this is very important. So this script, after taking the backup from the source server, the second step we have to extract the permissions and security information from the target server. So please note the script in Notepad. Once complete this step, then go to the document. The third one is that restore database in destination database. We took the backup from source, and we need to restore into the target server. In our case, dev database. For doing DB restore, first we need to copy the file into the node server. The file currently exists in the node 1 C drive. It is in backup DB refresh today date. Control C and copy into the local drive. I don't need these backups. I'm deleting all and control V. Okay, that means the backup file copied from source server to target server. The next step is that we need to restore it. Task restore database. Select the backup file. Seems to be stuck. Let's wait a few minutes. Let me close it. Okay, let me clear this server again. Connect to the database. DB refresh table. So we are in third step. That is restoring the backup for the production server. Backup file name is db replace prd.bak, and sorry, do the restore. Click restore. Select the backup file. Backup set selected to be restored. So maybe when you have any kind of problem while using the graphical method, so we can also use the command for doing the control. Take a new query. So here it is saying that not responding or something. So in that case, when you have any problem while doing the restore using the GUI mode, so we can also use the command, very simple command. So restore database. Database name is DB. Refresh div disk equal to path. Here we have to specify the backup file name. Backup, and then file name is DBA refresh prd.bak. And it is a full backup, so with replace. That is PSCK backups. Okay, so because we did the wrong name, let's restore now. And then what is the file name? Let's note the file name. Because when you give the wrong syntax or maybe wrong font, usually you'll get this error 3232 error, access related error. So that's mean we restored the database. So that's mean completed the third step. DB refresh step. If you after completing the restoration, so we already know that whatever data in the production server, the same data will come to the restored server, restored database. So three tables, and if you go to the security, here we can see only prod users. That means we when restoring the full backup, it will be override in the dev server, the dev database, and whatever security in the production server, the same will comes to the uh, restore server. In our case, whatever data in the production server, the same data, same security content will come to the restore in the database. So whatever security permission and here you can see that. But usually in development servers, developers security content, so they have to different. So what do the fourth step document. So using the fourth step, what we are doing, we will remove all the security which is comes from the provider. Don't use it. Take in the database, Control V, and we can remove this. Exit. Now this is the database, and go to the security. I think DBA is not. It is saying that it is not dropping. So when it is not dropping, try to manually remove using the delete command. Full database once can drop. Once. Takes it again. Okay, so there is a one command for when you get this command. So because it is mapped with any, we cannot drop here. So we can do that. Let me. Where is it command? So this is the thing. So we have to execute these two commands. Now it will allow us to proper use it. Mhm. Data read. So data reader not data. So we can see that which schema is pointing. So go to user product and on schemas. Here we can see the data reader. So we are changing the role to DBO, that is the DB user, and XP. And now echo. Right. So this is the one of the common issues. Like means any account is related reference to the any schemas. So we have to change the schema ownership using this command. Alter authorization on schema. So we have to see verify which schema it is referencing. That schema we have to map to DBO. DBO is the default user. Okay. So that's mean we completed the fourth step. So whatever security context comes from production server to, production to dev server database. Then the next step is that run the result script in the destination server from step 2. Okay. So we already executed in the second step we executed some script and we copy the result. This result script we have to execute on the database. Take a new query, Control V, and execute. Very simple. So whatever result we saved after executing the second step script, the script that result script we need to execute on the target database. That is in our case it is dev database. So once execute the script, whatever security context that the DB to be into the membership role, again the same role before doing the restore, whatever roles permission these accounts has, the same permissions will come. And dev3 account has tab 1 and tab 2. So it means that before doing the restoration, whatever this database has, and mainly the users and the permission the same we applied. So after completing, we need to orphan users. We already know that verifying the orphan users command. So we already sent this script. Using the script, we can find the users. So there is no orphan users. We don't see any orphan users. If you find any orphan users, again the command. This is the command. It will do that. It will automatically detect the orphan users and it will automatically fix it. In our case, we don't have any orphan users, but if we have anything, then it will automatically fix it. Right. So after completing this step, then we have to inform to the verify. You can also manually verify whether same will applied on the dev server or not. If everything is applied, then we have to enter the request that the DB refresh has been completed successfully. Correct. So this is called as a DB refresh, very important task, and almost on daily basis we need to work on DB requests. Sometimes from production to dev, production to testing, or maybe pre-production. Sometimes maybe development to production. Whatever environment, we have to follow the same steps. But the second step is very important. But taking the permission from the target server, target database. Okay. So once you practice it, then we can understand, we can get more confident about it, how it is working. So those things we'll get more confident once you practice the DB refresh. And very important, interview question as well, because they ask that what are the steps you need to follow when you get a request for DB refresh. Okay. So that's about the DB refresh, and if you clear about it, coming to the main content, like we completed side by side in DB refresh edition upgrade. So there is no question and answer topic for migration and upgradation, because like we get direct question from this topic. Tell me about what are the prerequisites for the side by side the upgradation, in place upgradation, how to do the migration, how to do the in place upgradation, how to do the edition upgrade, and again, so DB refresh, how to do the DB refresh. So you're getting the direct questions in interview point of view. So there is no document for question and answers. Okay, that's for today's question, Andy. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. If you don't have anything, then we'll wrap up now and then we'll catch up on tomorrow.
I lost my internet in the middle. So, what is the third step after restoring the data files? There was another script, right? So, authorization in the script. Can you explain the step? So, dropping the users, you mean to say dropping the
So
prod users? So, I was missing the step.
yes, so because after completing the restoration, in the development database, we had production users, because they don't use the production user to connect to the development database.
Okay.
So we removed all the production users using the fourth script. Let me open that.
So, we can drop the users also, right? Drop user or something like that, or we need to use.
Yeah, we can also use that, but the script, using the script will remove all the users in the database. So like if you want to drop a user manually, then we can use the drop user username. But this is a custom script. Using this script, it will drop all the users in the database.
Okay,
Okay,
so we are dropping
so
all the
that's
prod
means.
users and creating the developer users with the which we have taken already backup, right?
Yes, right. Yeah, the same. So because we have to provide the same users, same security. Because if you after completing the restoration, all the development users will remove in the development database, and then we can say the production users. Development team cannot use the production users security context to access the database for doing their operation. So that is the reason we're removing all the production related security information, and we're applying the development security context. So the context we already taken using the second step.
Yeah. Okay,
So
got it.
this is the important step in the DB refresh. Mining all are common, backup and restore. If you observe, like when you're starting from backup and restore, and then all the topics, so, uh, internalities depend on the backup and restore operation. So that is the reason backup and restore is a core topic. When you're doing the recovering, when you're doing the migration, when you're doing the DB refresh, everything is depend on the backup and restore. When you have confidence on backup and restore, then so we'll easily understand that these processes. And then security, like here in the DB refresh, we can see that how the security is managing when you're doing the DB refresh, backup and restore, what are the permissions we have. Yeah, so if you understand the security concept, you can easily understand the DB refresh and migration, right? So that means we completed the DB. Go back to the content. So we completed migration and upgradation. Tomorrow we'll start with automation, and once complete the automation topic, again we don't worry about backup and restore. We are moving to totally different concept, but there is a backup and restore, but there is not much important for backup and restoration. It is totally different. Probably it will take one and a half day class automation. Tomorrow we'll start with that. Once completed that, so very exciting topics: data, disaster recovery and availability. Very interesting, like very exciting topics. So it's a little automation topic, but once completed that, again we will move to the uh, important topics. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thanks,
that's
Manish.
all for today, Andy. I hope you understand clearly. So I will also send the documents related to in-place upgradation to discuss. If you have time, please watch the video or maybe practice or maybe read the documents for better understanding. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining, and have a good time. And then we'll catch up on tomorrow same time at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Manish.